What's up, everybody? Welcome to the morning edition of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Thomas, bringing you another edition of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Buffalo Bills reports in local media and national media stating that the Buffalo Bills are closing in on their final candidate for their vacant open head coaching position that was left open at season's end by interim coach Anthony Lynn. Most said that Anthony Lynn was a lock for the job, but when the Buffalo Bills began their head coaching search, they profiled quite a few candidates. Harold Goodwin, Richard from the Seattle Seahawks, the defensive coordinator. Frank Reich was reported to be scheduled for an interview, but along the way, they found a guy that they are interested in, that they are closing in on as their next head coach, and that is Carolina Panthers defensive coordinator Sean McDermott. I'm very excited about this news. When I looked at all the candidates that were interviewing for other head coaching jobs, Sean McDermott was actually one of the first guys that popped into my mind. He's not a big name hire, but he's somebody that provides the Bills with a little bit of substance as far as what they are trying to go back to, and that is that 4-3 defense. McDermott has been in Carolina for the past 5 years. Obviously, Carolina's defense has been one of the better defenses in the NFL during his tenure. You want to go previous to his tenure with the Carolina Panthers, McDermott worked as the safeties coach in Philadelphia with Brian Dawkins and Troy Vincent and those guys, and they were obviously very successful players in their time in Philly, and McDermott was a big reason for that. Jim Johnson at the time was the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the best in the league at that time. And Andy Reid was the head coach. Jim Johnson fell ill and, needed to take time off. And they promoted Sean McDermott as the defensive coordinator. And unfortunately, Jim Johnson passed away, and McDermott took over that role as the defensive coordinator. But McDermott would go on to credit Jim Johnson for virtually everything he knows about the defense that he runs now. And if you're looking to model your scheme based on one guy, if you're looking to learn from one guy, at that time, Jim Johnson was probably the best guy to learn from. Philadelphia's defense was always competitive, always ranked in the top 5, and this is a move that the Buffalo Bills felt that they needed to make to restore order, so to speak, to their defense. Really bring back their defense, make their defense better. Their defense was in the top 5 for a few years in a row, especially in sacks, top 3, top 2. So this was a move that I really was hoping for. I was hoping that they would give this guy serious consideration. I honestly didn't think they would in light of the recent Bills coaching misfires and dumpster fire comments made by Jim Trotter. You never know what to expect. But he was a part of Philly since 1998. In 2003, he replaced Steve Spagnuolo as a defensive backs coach in Philly, as Spagnuolo was assigned the linebackers coach. In 2004, McDermott saw both of his starting safeties. Here it is right here, what I just stated. Brian Dawkins and Michael Lewis earned Pro Bowl berths for the first time in team history. Under McDermott's watch, Brian Dawkins went on 2 more Pro Bowl berths following the 2005 and 2006 seasons. In 2007, McDermott was assigned linebackers coach after Spagnuolo left to take the defensive coordinator job for the Giants. And in 2008, Andy Reid named McDermott the secondary coach again. And then 2009, 2010, that's when he made the move from interim defensive coordinator to full-time defensive coordinator. So this guy has a pedigree. This guy has been around for quite some time. And I like the fact that they went with a defensive coach because obviously Their offense did okay. They led the league in rushing. They were last in passing. But their defense is where they really want to get back to basics, get back to what made their defense as successful as it was a few years ago. I actually think that this is a great hire for the Bills. I think out of all the candidates besides Frank Reich, this was the guy that I wanted the most, just because he has been around great defensive talent for the majority of his career, and he's used that talent. And even guys that were unheralded in Carolina. Josh Norman is the guy that comes to mind. He was not a known commodity, and in that scheme, in that defense, Josh Norman became a household name. And you saw what happened this past year with Washington in his first year as a Redskin. He didn't do as well. They didn't rely on him to cover the number one receivers and like they did in Carolina. So what does this mean for the rest of the team? Reports are also circulating saying that McDermott has close ties with former San Diego Chargers head coach Mike McCoy, and Mike McCoy could come on as the offensive coordinator and offensive play caller. I would really like that. Mike McCoy did a fantastic job in Denver. You saw what type of offense they ran there, a zone blocking type run first offense. And I liked that idea. Obviously, when Peyton Manning came along, the strategy kind of changed where Peyton Manning became the offensive coordinator, so to speak. But I like, the fact that they are willing to bring in a big name former head coach as their offensive coordinator. So I like McDermott. I like Mike McCoy. I McLike It. That was the tagline of today's show. The question is, the main question now, if they are hiring Sean McDermott as their next head coach and Mike McCoy as their possible offensive coordinator, what does that mean for the quarterback position? What direction are they going to go in at the quarterback position? The style of offense in which Mike McCoy runs, could it be adapted to a skill set of a Tyrod Taylor? I'm not sure, and I don't think most people know the answer to those questions. I think that he's a quarterback that offers a wide variety of athletic talent, but if they are running a scheme similar to what Mike McCoy has run in the past, it's bits and pieces of both. They've run a running style offense, and they have run a passing style offense. So, very interesting stuff. McCoy has been around since 2000. Kyle Orton, back in 2009, when Mike McCoy was named the quarterback's coach for the... actually, in 2008, 2008, when Mike McCoy was named the offensive coordinator and the quarterback's coach, Kyle Orton had a banner season under Mike McCoy, the former Buffalo Bill. He had career highs in almost every passing category that he had that season. And the passing attack ranked 7th in the NFL. So that goes to show you, he has ran both styles of offense. His running backs have had success in his scheme, and his quarterbacks have had success in his scheme. But his quarterbacks are passing quarterbacks. And I'm curious to see what will happen with the quarterback position now that McDermott is in town, now that Mike McCoy could possibly be in town. What type of guy would they bring in? Mike McCoy was almost the coach of the 2012 Chicago Bears when they fired Lovie Smith. The Bills also asked to hire him back in 2000, asked to interview him in 2012. John Fox, the former Broncos head coach, said that Mike McCoy was a heck of a coach and would be a heck of a head coaching candidate. Things didn't exactly work out in San Diego. I think he's more of an offensive coordinator now, and I think that role would fit his skill set without a doubt. his first season in San Diego, they started with a 4-6 record. They won They won 5 of their last 6 games, 4 straight. Finished with a 9-7 record. That was a playoff berth in the 6th seed, and that was the Chargers' first playoff team since 2009. So, he has some good credits to his resume, and I think that he would be a good offensive coordinator for sure. His head coaching record, not so great, 27-37, but they're not bringing in Mike McCoy as their next head coach. They're bringing in Sean McDermott. Mike McCoy has done very well as an offensive coach. His offenses have proven to be the elite of the elite, top 10 offenses year in and year out, while Sean McDermott has had 4 top 5 finishes in the last 5 years as a defensive coach, as a defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. I actually think that this is a great hire. I think that this is what the Bills need right now. I'm actually very happy that they decided not to go with Anthony Lynn. I didn't like what I saw that final week of the season. I don't think the players showed up for Anthony Lynn. As many good things as the players say about Anthony Lynn, I don't think he was the right fit for right now. So there is the Thomas Take. Also, I will be on later today. Tune in, check it out. I wanted to give you guys a morning show on Sean McDermott, the possible new head coach of the Buffalo Bills, and the possibility that former San Diego Chargers head coach Mike McCoy could take over as the offensive coordinator for the 2017 season. That was the Thomas Take. I'm Ryan Thomas. Take care.